looking for some normalcy in the year of 2020.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought, you know what? We finally have something that's familiar. LeBron made it to his 10th finals.
He sure did.
So finally something common happened within the year 2020. I'll tell you what is not common, though. Giannis Antetokounmpo got bounced the second round by the Heat when all of us expected him to go to the finals. But guess what?
What?
There is an Antetokounmpo brother who has made it to the finals for the first time before Giannis. That's Kostas Antetokounmpo, the first Antetokounmpo brother to make it to the finals.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. Wow.
Put him on a plaque. Put him on a basketball card. Forget Giannis.
Yo, he's gonna have that over Giannis's head for the rest of their lives. Like, at any point if Giannis is like, bro, I'm better than you, Coach is gonna be like, but who made it to the finals first? I did. I hopped on the right train.
Kostas won't even be able to find a team next year, and Giannis, like, years down the line, is going to be like, dude, I was a two-time MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year. Like, what did you do? He could be like, dude, I won an NBA championship.
Yeah, I got a ring. Where's yours? Oh, snap. That's right.
Then he'll be like, but how many minutes did you play in that finals? He'll be like, that wasn't the first question. You just asked me if it was a championship or not. So
Yeah. I can't wait. Thanksgiving with them is going to be hilarious.
Oh, my goodness. How was your weekend, man?
Hey, man, my weekend was good. You know, I had to cap it off with a quick Steelers dub. You know what I'm saying? Go Steelers. Shout out Juju. Shout out Big Ben. Shout out James Conner. Shout out Deontay Johnson. Shout out everybody. TJ Watt, come on now. Love y'all.
Wayne's Twitter lights up like Christmas when the Steelers play.
Yes, it does. If you want quality content during a Steelers game, follow me at Hattrick Wizzy. I'm telling you, it's gold content. It's a roller coaster.
Is there any pride or any significance in the fact that you beat the Houston Texans? Or is it just another win?
No, we 3-0 now. We still undefeated. So I'm gonna take that win like any other win.
Yeah, well, the Texans, we have the same numbers, but you just flip them around. It's 0-3. So
don't worry, y'all will win soon. Y'all probably win next week.
I really don't care, though, because again, I use this word a lot with you, but it's just mediocrity. I mean, it's those false senses of hope, and then the coach who's horrible is also the one making decisions. So anyways, I won't go down that. I won't go down that rabbit hole because honestly, I don't feel like crying today. So or tonight. But there is a lot of stuff to get to. First, before we get to that, let me remind everybody that if you're listening on iTunes, make sure you give us that 5-star rating and drop a review for us. We'd love that kind of support. And if you're watching on YouTube, hello, and make sure to like this video, subscribe to our page, and you can follow or you can listen to us on all streaming platforms from Google to Spotify to the other ones that I really don't know the name of, but I know that we're on there. Let's get into it, Wayne. The Lakers are going to the NBA Finals. LeBron is going for his 10th finals. Holy moly, that's insane at the age of 35 years old. But let's talk about the Nuggets-Lakers series for a little bit. I mean, the common trend with the Lakers throughout this whole playoffs has been not sweeps, but gentlemen sweeps.
Gentlemen sweeps, man.
5 games, no more, no less. And they left it at that, and they took care of business. So what were just some takeaways you had maybe from the Lakers end or even the Nuggets end for this series?
For the Lakers, I feel like, I don't know, they were just efficient coming into this. You know, they handled their business in the previous series, and so they came into this series and they were just like, you know what, this is just a fresh series. We're good. We're well rested. Let's just go out there and compete. And even in those times when it looked kind of shaky, like, oh, my goodness, the Nuggets might be the comeback kids yet again, LeBron was like, do y'all know who I am? I'm LeBron James.
Honestly, when they went down 3-1, I was like, the Nuggets got them right where they want them.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, LeBron, he's going to take it. Hey, hold up. The Nuggets are comfortable right now.
They love the numbers 3 and 1. So
yeah. Doesn't matter which way it is. They want to be 3-1 in some capacity. But the Nuggets, seeing what they went through in the series before, or in the two series before they met the Lakers, these guys, they just came to compete, and they were ready for just about anything. Even going down 3-1 twice, they found a way to come back and win two series. I mean, you ran into LeBron, of course. I mean, there's
They're
just nothing you can do.
the Nuggets just need to place their plaque next to all the other teams that have failed running into LeBron. I mean, you have uh, Paul Millsap and the Hawks back in the day. You have who else was there? The Raptors with DeMar DeRozan. Like, there's a long list of teams that just could not make it past the wall that is LeBron.
Yeah, so they can hang their hat. At least they gave them, a little bit of a run for their money, even though they ended up losing 4-1, right? 4-1.
Right.
Another gentleman's sweep. The Lakers, I mean, if you look at all their series, it's been 4-1, 4-1, 4-1. They give you one, but then they're like, look, we got to handle our business and get to the next round. So shout out to the Lakers for being efficient in all their series and just really coming in here just ready to compete and put their foot down and say, look, I know what everybody's been saying before the season started, and we know what happened last season, how they didn't perform as well, and LeBron sat out a lot, and so he came back and he was like, look, I'm ready. This is it. And with everything that's happened in 2020, like you said at the beginning, some normalcy. LeBron is in the finals, and we can appreciate that. So let's get it popping.
Yeah, and he had some duds of games, a couple not duds of games, but he was kind of starting to fade out in the second half of a couple of these games. But LeBron showed exactly who he is with this game that ended last night. I think he ended the game with a triple double, scored somewhere around like 38 points, just dominated down the stretch. And it just goes to show you when he decides like it's time to go, he's full throttle ahead. Nobody is getting in his way, and he's just going to take care of business. And you know what? I saw pregame. I don't know if you saw this too on Twitter, but it was like a clip of him with his headphones on the sideline, and he was just looking so determined, just locked in, looking straight ahead. And I was like, good Lord, if I looked at Crosby like that, if he did something bad, I'm pretty sure he would cry. Like, I wanted to cry looking at LeBron, and I wasn't even the one going up against him, but he just had that LeBron determined look, like I'm about to take care of business, and he absolutely did.
Business.
I mean, he did his thing, and Davis had a good game too. He was like 8 for 16 with 28 points, but LeBron was the one that really carried them home and brought them to this 10th finals. And you do have to give some credit to the Nuggets though, because man, this was so exciting to watch for this team. Like, the fact that they really made every series they had besides this one a 7-game series and ended up winning the 2 previous ones is honestly literally something we've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were really fun to watch. And the good thing about them as compared to maybe other teams that have failed against LeBron in the past, like a DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, or like a Paul Millsap and Al Horford and that really tight core on that Hawks team, is most of those teams, they were at the peak of their powers in a way. And the good news for the Nuggets is I don't really feel like they're at the peak of their powers because their team is so young and they're just now discovering kind of what they can do. And they have, besides this year, they have playoff wins, playoff losses under their belt, which are all good for a young team moving forward, especially when you have pieces like MPJ and Bol, who barely got any minutes, but I'm sure is going to start to get into the rotation sometime next year. But I mean, I would be wrong to say that the Nuggets don't have anything to look forward to beyond this. I feel like there's just a ton of hope for them coming out of this series.
Yeah, this Nuggets team, like you said, they're really young. They have potential, of course.
Oh, yeah. Love that word.
Yeah, but the sky is the limit for these guys. And who's to say that, next season comes around and, they don't have to face a LeBron because maybe somebody else takes care of LeBron or something like that. They might have a chance to really go all the way, depending on, who comes in, who I don't even think they really need anybody else to come in. These guys are already so good at playing together and playing for each other that, I don't know, they could just run the table at some point in the near future because they like looking at them before this whole playoff series and before this whole Corona, all this good stuff. I mean, just looking at this team, you're just like, all right, yes, they were the number one seed a little while ago. Yes, but like they don't look intimidating. But now that you're seeing what they can do when they play together and how they come back from 3-1 twice in a playoff series, like, come on. These guys are set. They don't really need anything else. As long as they stay together and play together, I'd take the Nuggets over just about almost anybody.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same kind of deal with the Lakers too. Like, even though they were, did you say the Nuggets were the one seed?
Like a little while ago.
Oh, okay. So yeah, but just in kind of a similar vein, even the Lakers were the one seed, and I don't think any of us looked at them during the regular season and necessarily thought that we were like sold on them being the favorites to win the championship, because honestly their team around them just looked awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Anthony Davis and LeBron are great, but I don't know how much faith you want to put in like Alex Caruso, Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, Danny Green, uh, the Morris twin. Like, I don't know how much you want to invest into that team, because the supporting cast matters. But what we saw in this series too was that those guys started to step up as well. Like, even with, they kind of split minutes between McGee and Howard during the season, and Howard really was the aggressor, especially towards Jokic in this series. Like, he neutralized him. I think we might have talked about this on our last podcast, but he just made it really tough for him down there. And the thing I've noticed about Jokic is he is super good, but I think one thing that he's going to learn in the offseason is that he honestly just commits really dumb fouls. Like, he's a great player, but I think he commits those frustration fouls that come at the worst times. And if you want to be a great player, you can't really let frustration get to you, because guys like Dwight Howard really took it on their sleeve to be an agitator in the series. And
Mm-hmm.
if they can get under your skin and allow you to foul and get into foul trouble, and know that because you're in foul trouble, you're going to play a little bit more timidly, they know that they've done their job. And so I really got to give it up to Dwight Howard, to Rajon Rondo, to Danny Green, and even, I know those are the supporting cast, but even LeBron did stuff like in, I think it was game 4, where he said, look, I'm guarding Jamal Murray in the last 3 minutes of this game. Like, he took that task on himself, which is not typically the guy he was defending. But, in that game 5, they weren't letting Jamal Murray have any space, especially because he was a little bit hobbled too. I know he was kind of playing on like an injured knee or leg or something like that. But even with that, the Lakers were doubling him any chance they could get, because they know that guy can come out in a closing game and give the Nuggets hope and give them something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
But this series honestly was a wrap after game 2, when the Nuggets could have had that one game and Anthony Davis ended up having that buzzer beater, which I don't even know if we spoke about that, me and you, but God, it must have sucked to be Mason Plumlee the day after, because he was just getting roasted everywhere you looked. Like, because he looked at Jeremy Grant, and I guess Jeremy Grant was like signaling to him, or Mason was signaling to him that, like, hey, I'm going to come underneath this screen, or hey, we're going to switch as soon as the play goes. But I think there was just a miscommunication, and Plumlee slipped under, and Anthony Davis just ended up making an incredible shot.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, what did you think of that game winner?
Yo, I was watching that. I think I was like tuned into the last maybe minute
Well,
of that game.
we were texting each other that night. I think we had done the podcast, and then
that's
we
right.
had went and watched the game.
Yeah. So as soon as we were finished, I went down and turned the game on, and bro, I was just sitting there, and I thought the ball was gonna go to LeBron, obviously. But as soon as I saw Anthony Davis, like he was at the bottom of the screen, and I saw Plumlee was on him, and I saw him like take off, I was like, oh, hold up a second. And they like Rajon Rondo. Did you see how he looked after the shot went in? How he was just like everybody was cheering and celebrating, and Rajon Rondo was just like under the basket, like, all right, whatever.
He's like, I knew this.
Yeah, I knew this was
This is
going
gonna happen.
in. And Anthony Davis even said it. He was like, the play was supposed to go to LeBron, but he looked at Rajon Rondo and was like, hey, give me the ball. Like, this is gonna be my shot.
Yeah.
And I just love that, and how he said Kobe before the shot went in or something like that, or after the shot went
After
in.
the shot, yeah.
Yeah, that was perfect. And I understand like Plumlee in that situation, he didn't have to switch, I guess. He could have just stayed with him, but he
I,
was trying to make the quick like
I really don't know, but I don't put a lot of blame on him. I feel like I put more blame on Mike Malone for. I mean, he wasn't even in the game before that point. I
yeah.
guess he wanted to put him in because he knew that Anthony Davis could be a potential like lob threat.
That's what I thought was gonna happen.
But
Was like just lob it and just
that made me think too, like just how crazy the NBA is now. That a guy who is near 7 foot can catch a lob, but can also do a step back 3 game winner as a big man. Like that just blows my mind. Like we weren't talking about this in the Shaq era. We weren't talking about this when there was, Yao Ming and Patrick Ewing and all these big historic big men. It's just ridiculous to think of how the game has evolved today.
Could you imagine Yao Ming sitting on the 3-point line? Just saucing
honestly,
fools up.
honestly, seeing him do it like a step back 3 would just look like stilts trying to stay standing.
He might fall. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You might fall.
Imagine Shaq just stepping back and pulling up from deep. Like, come on.
Boy, that guy can't even make a free throw. Come on.
Nah.
So I want to ask you a question about not necessarily this series, but just I guess this is more of a legacy question now because we know that LeBron has made it. This is going to be his 10th finals now, which is, again, just absolutely insane. But I want to ask this question. When you hear, I'm going to give you 2 scenarios, and I want you to tell me which one sounds better, okay?
All right.
So if LeBron's going to the finals, but if he wins, or let's say he loses in the finals, okay?
Mm-hmm.
A 3-10 record. Okay. So LeBron is that right?
3 out of 10.
3
He's
out of 10.
He'd be 3 and 7, but 3 out of 10.
Correct. Right? Okay. There's that.
Yeah.
Or the other one is LeBron has been to the finals 10 times. Which one sounds better or worse? Or I guess, which one do you care for more?
I'd probably care more for he's been to the finals 10 times. Like, that's crazy. I saw a stat. I forgot where, like Twitter or something, maybe. I don't know. It could be unreliable, but I'm going to say it anyway. You can roast me if I'm wrong. But LeBron has been in like 13.5% of all the NBA finals, period. Like, of all the NBA finals combined, LeBron has been in 13.5% of all of them. Yeah. He's been in 10. That's ridiculous. It's crazy. So I'd rather focus on that. Like, even though he's lost six times and won 3, that's cool, whatever. You can throw that in the debate about him being the GOAT or whatever, but he's been to the finals 10 times.
Yeah, I think I probably side with you as well. And we also have to think, like, he ran up against, possibly one of the best teams ever in history in the Golden State Warriors. Like, if they weren't assembled, if Steph Curry and Klay Thompson wouldn't have kind of risen from out of nowhere, we could be talking about a whole different scenario. We could be talking about LeBron already having 6 rings,
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately he had to face them, and that's just something that all fans have to live with, and he has to live with. But yeah, I would side more with 10. And here's the crazy thing. Let's say he does. So he's going to go to the finals. Let's say he wins. He's now won 4 out of 10 finals that he's been to. But it's not just the 4 rings. It's that he's now won with 3 different franchises.
Mm-hmm.
The Miami Heat, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and now what would be the Los Angeles Lakers. That, to me, brings it to a whole new level, because it's not just about the 4 rings, but it's about the fact that you brought 3 franchise to the promised land, basically.
Yeah. That, I didn't even think about that. And that's a good point to bring up, because
I wonder if anybody else has done that, or even more than 3 franchise. But I'm not talking about like, some sort of like Patrick McCaw who's like hopped around and just won finals, but like a legitimate guy who's led teams to where they win a championship. I don't know if that's ever happened before.
No, I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But like he's been in three different teams. That's three different environments, three different groups of players, and to go to those teams and be like, look, I know who y'all are, and y'all know who I am, and y'all know why I'm here. We get into the promised land.
Right.
Like that's crazy.
And
So like
especially at the age of 35.
yeah. And so like as far as the whole who's better, Jordan or LeBron thing, like I mean that
I'm tired of that conversation anyways,
yeah,
honestly. Why can't we just respect greatness for what they are when they were?
yeah. I couldn't agree more. But for those of
However,
you who love to debate that, you can add that to the LeBron fire, I guess. Because I didn't even think about that. That's crazy. Three different teams, three different environments. It's not that easy to like have three different groups of players that you have to lead because you have different egos, different personalities, all different coaching styles, and you have to like find a way to work with all that and get a ring. That's crazy.
yeah, and it was not just like I'm trying to think here who LeBron defeated in those first 2 years in Miami. Because like obviously he made it past the Spurs, but when they actually made it to the finals. Oh wait.
The Mavs,
Miami's in the East. So yeah, so they faced the Spurs in the finals. They beat the Spurs once, and was it the Mavs?
the Mavs beat them,
But the Mavs beat them once. But I was thinking,
and then he beat the Mavs, right?
I think so, but I'm not completely sure. But then he goes to Cleveland, faces those Golden State teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to LA where he's faced with this totally odd scenario of playing inside of a bubble without any fans and being quarantined for literally 4 months. Like each of the stages of him winning championships as well has been some sort of obstacle that is just unprecedented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, he's doing his thing. I mean, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but yes, even just the fact that he's made 10 is incredible. But somebody asked him after the game, they said, are you, because he was just like sitting on the confetti when they were all celebrating. He wasn't even doing it. He's like, I've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody asked him like, are you excited? He was like, well, we got bigger fish to fry. And I really wish he would have said though that we have bigger nuggets to fry, but he didn't say that.
Missed a perfect opportunity.
He honestly missed the perfect dad joke, and
no, his kids would have roasted him for sure.
yeah, they would have. But I mean, your kids, kids would roast you even if you said what he said, bigger fish to fry. Like that's such a dad saying, right?
Yeah,
I've never said it though, so I'm still.
I don't think I'll say it. Hopefully not ever.
Don't never say never. Okay, so there's a game happening right now. It's Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. Currently, as it stands, it's the third quarter with about 3 minutes left, and the Heat are leading the Celtics 82-74.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into the potential of a Game 7 between these two teams, or even Miami potentially going to the finals after tonight, I want to just know your thoughts on this series. For me, it's been really gritty in a way. Like they've just been pound for pound, but also the Heat have shown that they've, in a lot of these games, they're just the ones that are willing to be more the aggressors and the ones willing to just get down and dirty, even if it doesn't look pretty. And Bam Adebayo has been incredible. Jimmy Butler hasn't even been great in this series, but you have guys like Tyler Hero stepping out for 37 points and just going crazy, honestly. Like they just have options all around. Even when Jay Crowder has kind of been slipping from the 3-point line, like these guys are still finding ways to win. And, the Celtics made a good push the last game to get this to a 3-2 series and not end that series right away at 5 games. And I think it was really because Jason Tatum did a great job. in that second half. He's really a second half player. Like he has these duds in the first half, and then he comes out for like 20 points. And then Daniel Tice kind of found a way to neutralize Bam as well. So, what are your thoughts though on this series so far?
Like you said earlier, it's a gritty series. It's pound for pound, hit for hit. Like when you're watching two good boxers go at it, just throwing one haymaker after the other. That's basically what this series is. And I mean, from the jump, I mean, the Heat they're showing a different level of tenacity that I like. But no slight to the Celtics, who are just really the more skilled team, the more technical team. They just need to, I guess, have that like that pack mentality. The Heat have that pack mentality where they know what's best for the team, and so they're gonna do that. The Celtics, I'm not saying that I don't get that vibe, but like they're just so technical and so skilled. And then you have like a player like Marcus Smart who has that, like, I'm gonna do what's best for the team. I'm gonna die for the loose balls. I'm gonna do, get under somebody's skin, get somebody in foul trouble, do all the little stuff to get my team over the edge. But the thing is, the whole Heat team is like that. Like they're already,
A bunch of Marcus Smarts.
yeah, in the with the mind, not the skill,
Yeah.
the mind.
It
But
has to be like the big difference between these two teams is one, like you said, the Celtics are really skilled. The Heat, they're skilled in a lot of ways, but also I feel like they have more of a plan, more of a game plan than the Celtics actually do.
mhm,
Like when the Heat run a zone defense against the Celtics, they honestly look clueless sometimes, and they really don't know how to counter it. And they've come out of games where they've lost, and the same defense happens again, and they really haven't made any adjustments. It's like they're almost relying simply on the fact that they have more skilled players, but the Heat have more schemes and more and more what's the word? I guess weapons to throw at them.
mhm.
And I think that's a product of Eric Spoelstra too. I mean,
I
this
was
guy
about to
has
say that,
seen
yeah.
everything. I mean, he's seen and he's been through a multitude of eras too. He was, throw it down in the post to Tim Duncan and find a way to neutralize him to now this, heavy three ball, small ball lineup. Um, but it just seems like the Heat are the ones that have more of a plan while the Celtics are really just relying on trying to beat guys off the dribble or trying to just heave up these shots that, could go in or could not go in.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. Um, yeah, when you look at the coaching and how they, I guess, draw things up, like you said, Eric Spoelstra's been here. He knows what it takes, and he's going to go out there and try and out-coach the other coach. Brad Stevens, yes, he's been in the playoffs a few times, and he has, some experience. But getting these guys to game plan and getting them all on the same page, that's going to be where I guess, where the real coaching comes in, or where he needs to step up and be like, okay, if they're doing this, we need to do this. It can't just be like, okay, let's move the ball because they're in a zone and we don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. No, you need to have a set, like, go-to few plays where you're like, okay, if you see them running a 2-3 zone, this is what we're going to do to stop it. And you need to execute and get it done.
Right.
And then if you see them doing this, like, you have to have those things. And I don't know if he has that yet because they're so skilled. It might just be like, just recognize and get, find the open shot. And that's
Right.
like his little pitch to the team. But it's got to be deeper than that. It's got to be more aggressive. You have to be so sure of yourself as a coach that, like, hey, when we see this, we have to do this. That's it. And Spoelstra, because he's, been to the finals, he's got the ring. Like he knows what it takes to get back there. And he has this team of just absolute go-getters. And he's just like, look, if we do this, we're good. So let's go out
Right.
there and get it. Simple as that.
What
So
if the Celtics just ran more isolations for Brad Wanamaker and just had him take it home to the promised land? You
that'd
think
be
that could
like
work?
that'd be like how the Rockets almost lost to Lou Dort.
God.
He dropped 30.
Wayne, you are bringing up some scars, my friend.
Sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Is it?
It's the comparison.
Could we call Tyler Hero like the new white chocolate?
You know what? I'm okay with that.
Because Jason Williams was that dude back in the day making those slick
Yo,
passes and just brought kind of a new style into the NBA. But I don't know. I feel like Tyler Hero just has that swagger. I feel like it's appropriate to call him like White Chocolate 2.0.
yeah, I'm okay with that. He can be. What's another name? White chocolate. I don't know. We'll
White
figure it out.
vanilla wafer,
Vanilla wafer. Yo, yeah, he'll be little vanilla wafer. Little
uh,
vanilla wafer.
vanilla ice cream. What else? What
Little vanilla
other?
bean.
What other? Yeah, vanilla bean. Oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I like that. Vanilla bean.
Vanilla, the vanilla bean boy. Yeah, he had an awesome game though. He was tearing it up. I think it was game 3 or something, and that was kind of when the Celtics had to just like shrug their shoulders because it's like, man, we tried a game plan against Bam and against Jimmy Butler and Duncan Robinson off the 3-point line, and then Tyler Hero comes out of nowhere off the bench and ends up scoring 37 points.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do about that? You really don't do anything about that. So I know the next game he didn't have as great of a game, but he was also in foul trouble. So did you just look up some stats?
I looked at the score.
Okay.
End of the third, it's 88-86 Heat.
Oh my goodness, that gap closed real quick.
Yep.
We about to wrap up this pod again. We had to do this last week too.
This game's too good, man. We gotta get out of here.
It's like every time we do a podcast, a good game's on.
Yeah.
Okay, so between these two teams, though, so personally, I want to see a game 7, right? I think we would all want to see a game 7 because it's game 7s. But let's, whether it's a game 7 or whether the Heat win tonight, whatever it may end up being, which of these two teams between the Celtics and between the Heat do you actually want, not the team that you think is going to just win this series, but more so the team you want to see go to the finals and face LeBron and AD and the Lakers?
If I'm talking the team I want to see go face LeBron, I want to see the Celtics go face LeBron.
Really? So
Yes.
that kind of surprised me. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, I picked the Heat to win the series just
Right.
because I feel like they're just better built for this moment.
Yeah.
But I would love to see. I mean, I know this team is kind of fresh or kind of new. I mean, they like a couple of them been playing together for a while, but personally, I absolutely love Kemba Walker, and it's about time that he got some shine in the finals.
Mm.
And we haven't really seen much of him in the playoffs because of he was on the Hornets for the longest time. So now he's on a team and they're like really, really, really good. So I kind of want to see him in the finals, man, because he just deserves so much credit for just sticking with a team and always being that guy, like the go-to guy. And I still believe he's the most underrated point guard in the league, which is debatable. But
Drew Holiday?
okay. Yeah. But I just want to see Kemba Walker get that shine, man. Even if they lose, I mean, it's LeBron. But even if they lose, I just really want to see Kemba and Jason Tatum. I feel like he deserves to be in the finals in some capacity. So
yeah, and on the flip side, with who you mentioned, Tatum and even Brown too. I think back to like the Last Dance show with the Chicago Bulls and how we just got to see their entire run as a team. To me, this is one. If the Celtics made it, it would be one of those legacy building type of moments where you see Tatum and Brown like really young ages like start to just blossom and potentially win a championship against the guy with the crown, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, the one who wants to also take over the West. So those moments kind of just solidify themselves in history, especially at those young ages. So you're right. I would love to see Kemba Walker get some shine, but also Tatum and Brown as well. I think I want to see the Heat though.
yeah,
And
you could. Yeah,
I'd like to see the Celtics Lakers because of also the team history and rivalry between those two franchises. Because I think the Lakers and the Celtics hold the most championships between those two franchises. I can't remember who's edging out right now, but I think it's really close.
Mhm.
So I like that narrative to like go into it with that. But
Mhm.
also I like the narrative of LeBron James' old Miami Heat team coming into defeat him potentially with a guy
Yeah.
like Jimmy Butler, who was a second round pick, and with a guy like Duncan Robinson, who came from like a D3 school and is now on a starting lineup on a championship team, and a guy like Bam Adebayo, who nobody had on their radar and became one of the best defensive players and an all-star in his second year. Like those just hard grit stories,
Mhm.
I just gravitate towards those. And I feel like it would be really fun to see a team that gritty because I don't feel like Boston really has that grit.
Mhm.
And one thing that was really defeating for the Nuggets was the fact that LeBron James could just drive down the paint and go at anybody in that series. They really didn't have a lot of guys who could stop him. Like you could argue maybe Jeremy Grant or I'm drawing a blank on the other guy's name, but he got to the basket whenever he wanted. And it's going to be a lot harder for him to do that against a guy like Bam Adebayo. Like that dude can protect the paint all day. He can move his feet. He's not going to be a liability in an isolation setting. Um, I just feel good about the Heat's chances. I'm not saying they'll win. I just think they might make it more competitive than the Celtics.
Yeah, and to think Eric Spoelstra would be able to coach against LeBron instead of
Mm.
coaching for him.
And he knows
So
him pretty well.
yeah, so that'd be interesting to see who like the matchups that he throws at LeBron to see if he can, kind of get him off a little bit because he knows LeBron and he knows his go-tos and all that stuff. So he might be able to kind of get LeBron off his game a little bit by throwing different looks at him.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting.
No doubt about it. It would, and honestly, it'd just be so weird to see Jimmy Butler holding up a championship trophy. I don't know why that image is really weird in my mind, but I'm just like, that's not possible, right? Especially like I didn't even have the Heat anywhere in contention this year. Like I knew they were going to be competitive, but I wasn't like they're going to make it to the championship. So we shall see. But let's hear it right here before we hop off the pod, Wayne,
Mm-hmm.
because you got a quarter left to make this prediction, and then right when we release this recording, it's already going to be done. So who are you taking? Are the Celtics winning tonight in this game 6, or are the Heat advancing tonight and making it to the NBA Finals?
You heard it here first. The Heat are winning this game and going to the finals.
Oh man, okay.
Yes.
I'm just
Hey,
I'm
can I
not.
say something real quick? Oh, go ahead.
No, you cannot say something. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I just noticed, and we haven't talked about this on the podcast, I don't think. When is Jimmy Butler going to get a haircut? Because there's barbers in the bubble. There are bubble
Yes.
barbers.
Isn't Rondo's brother one of the barbers?
I don't know, which would
That's what
make
I heard.
sense. But
Okay,
there
wait,
are.
I don't have a problem with his hair. I do have a problem with his mustache.
I feel like he's just not getting anything cut until like they're eliminated or they win the whole thing. Which I'm cool with that. It just be really weird if he wins the whole thing and you see like this like really uncut dude with no edge up holding up the NBA trophy. That's gonna be all over the headlines, man.
It, it
Get a
would
haircut.
it would definitely be weird. I agree with you. He does look a bit scraggly.
But if
I don't know what it is, but and
oh man.
it doesn't have to be a complete makeover too. Just some sort of, like you said, kind of a shape up and edge up, just something to kind of, something to work with for the cameras because it is rough. I mean, I think they've had to censor out a few scenes with that mustache, honestly, because it looks like it's just, I know I keep going back to the mustache, but it's like if you look at my mustache, if you're on YouTube right now, like I don't have the greatest mustache, but it's at least kind of even. His has like hair hanging over the lip and just like weird
Bruh.
stuff. Like, how do you even eat food? Like you probably still got leftovers from, your pregame meal. It
Yeah.
looks dirty,
He
honestly.
I think he's on like the whole Samson thing where just don't get it cut, keep all
Mm,
his power in.
yeah.
So that might be it. Maybe he read his Bible before the bubble and he was like, you know what? I read the story of Samson, so I'm gonna keep the hair until we win and then I'll cut it.
Yeah.
But
But I
hey,
feel like Jay Crowder has more Samson hair, you know what I mean?
yeah, he's got the locks, but
He's definitely got the locks. No, but I agree. Jimmy Butler not looking so good. Not looking
anyway,
so good, my man.
yeah. What was your pick?
Uh, sorry, I lost my
Oh,
train of thought.
for the Celtics Heat.
Oh, who did you choose?
I chose the Heat winning it tonight and
That's right.
moving
Okay.
on.
Well, I was just gonna say I was just gonna go against you and say Celtics just to make it interesting. Uh, I think we both internally want the Celtics to win though because we want to see a game seven though.
Yeah, true. I would love to see a game 7, but
But my question is because I think they said the earliest the finals can start is Wednesday. But if there's a game seven that's going to happen, is it still going to be Wednesday? Because that means that if a game seven, like if the Celtics won tonight, then that means they skip a day tomorrow
mm-hmm.
and they pick up on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So I guess the finals would start like Friday or Thursday. So, you know, a part of me wants basketball sooner. So for that, like I would want the Heat to win, but also like let's just make it interesting and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see if the Heat and Jimmy Butler can get it done tonight.
I know we talked about this briefly, but Billy Donovan's the head coach of the Chicago Bulls now. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's just good for them because they have a noticeable name. Like it's not just some, you know, assistant coach on some team who they're giving a shot. Like this is a notable name from college and from obviously the OKC Thunder with you know what he was able to do this past year. So, any thoughts on that?
I mean, not really. I like Billy Donovan. He, kind of fumbled the bag in that series, so it was about time.
He's still got a
But
lot to prove.
yeah, he does still have a lot to prove. And going over there with Zach Levine, aka Zach Levine, that's what I like to call him. But yeah,
Did you
Zach
see that
Levine.
he like learned that Billy Donovan was now the new head coach of the Chicago Bulls while he was playing a video game?
I think I saw. I didn't watch it, but I
He
read
was like
about it.
playing his video and he picked up his phone and he was like, "Oh, Billy Donovan's our new head coach." Wow. And like it was so not like he was like grateful and excited but in a super nonchalant way. I
Yeah,
just found it kind of funny that that was like through a video, video game stream, and then he just found out right there.
maybe Billy Donovan can be the one to come in and kind of turn things around for this team because they need something.
I mean, what are
More
the
than
bright
anything.
pieces? Zach Levine, Kobe White, Wendell Carter Jr. if he can stay healthy. It's really Lowry Markkinen. Like those
Oh
four
yeah,
guys,
marketing. Yeah,
they're pretty good, but they just got some guys that are like fillers at this point. So yeah, hopefully he can do something with them because I would like to see the Bulls, be one of those top franchises again. Like it's just, I feel like the league is more fun when they are more at the top.
yeah. We gonna see, man. We gonna
Maybe
see.
they could pick up Joakim Noah because Billy Donovan coached Joakim Noah at Florida, and Joakim Noah used to play for the Bulls, so maybe he could be some sort of like vet mentor for those young guys. I don't
You ever
know.
seen Joakim Noah shoot a free throw?
That wasn't the discussion.
It wasn't, but like as soon as I hear the name Joakim Noah, I just look at his free throw and the way the ball spins like sideways, like a
Yeah,
helicopter. I don't like that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
but the dude at one point finished fourth in MVP voting, so you can't even with his bad free throw shooting, you
Even
can't
with
knock
his
him completely.
weird, I don't
It
even know
does.
how to
It does
describe
look
it.
awkward though. It looks. My goodness, man. Put Jimmy Butler's haircut next to Joakim Noah's free throw form. It's like somebody censor that stuff.
Please, I don't want to see that anymore. It makes me cringe, bro. Like, please.
This film is rated R.
Uh, oh my goodness.
uh, all right. Well, that was fun. Wayne, what are some things that people should be advised of this week? Let's get some advice flowing in the podcast. What do you got for me this week?
Some advice. Well, if you're listening to this and you're in Texas,
Mm.
just a heads up. Fall is here. Get ready.
Pumpkin spice lattes, baby.
I actually tried a pumpkin spice latte one time. I didn't like it. The hype is not real.
The well, that's exactly what it is, though. It's hype. It's a super sugary drink that has a hint of I don't know pumpkin flavoring in there.
You know what my advice is? My advice is don't fall into the hype, people. All right.
You know what's funny too? Like I don't really feel like if you just because I said like a hint of pumpkin in there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a pumpkin by itself really just isn't good. So
Yeah,
I feel like it's just everything's artificial, and we've somehow been convinced that a certain taste is like pumpkin flavor, even though it has like it doesn't actually taste that way. Does that make sense?
I think I'm catching what you're throwing. I'm
Yeah.
picking up what you're putting down.
Okay, but in spring, summer, fall, winter, I'm not getting any other drink than a black coffee. That's it.
Look, my go-to is a vanilla bean frappuccino with caramel drizzle.
Oh, that's
Straight
that
up.
Tyler Hero drink.
Yeah. Me and Tyler be on the same wavelength, bro. We out here.
I don't think you could score 37 in a playoff game though.
Put me in a game against like sixth graders. I'll score 50. I might even dunk on somebody.
That's where I shine, baby.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sixth graders don't stand a chance.
me and Wayne back in the day when we used to work at the same place, we would school fifth and sixth graders all the time, bro. All
Yes.
the time.
You look at our stat sheet, bro. We're like all-time MVP. Our jerseys are hanging in the rafters of the old middle school.
Dude, do you remember we used to chunk footballs and basketballs from full court just to see if we
Yeah.
could make them on downtime?
Dude, you were like the half court, full court like champ,
I
bro.
was the wizard, bro.
I was.
That
It
was
was
my
to that
game right
point.
there.
It was to the point where like if we ever got the chance to do like the Rockets half court like challenge, and they were like, "All right, who you putting up?" Everybody point at Drew, man, because he got it. Everybody point at Drew.
I still have a video of you though, Wayne, with the bum 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 bum
Yo,
bum
yo,
bum
yeah.
bum 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 bum. That background
Yo,
music while you're getting set up to take a three, and it's just the cleanest form ever. It's an epic video. I still have
yo,
it
if
on my
you
phone.
if you still have that, you need to put that in here somewhere. Bro, I'll go back and like watch that video and just be like, man, I got it, bro. I got the 3-pointer on lock. You know, it's easy.
We
The
got.
form,
I will just say this. I'll end on this. We got really bored at that job. We did some really stupid stuff. Uh,
but it
I
was
don't
so
think.
fun.
I don't think we did as much productive stuff as we did stupid stuff. But it was a lot of fun, anyways.
We gave the kids something to cheer about.
That's right. And we made them cry by beating them in basketball every day.
Hey, it builds character.
Yeah, and when we got mad at the kids, we would just passive aggressively go all out in dodgeball and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I hurt you," but in reality, it was like, "Yeah, take that."
Take that little Jimmy. Yeah.
I hope none of the parents end up listening to this podcast. I
Being
don't
like,
think that'll happen.
you hit my kid in the face. Look, sorry.
He's still scarred from that. All right, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the 3&D podcast. We're going to see if the Celtics pull it out or if the Heat are going to the NBA Finals. But we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you next week. Holla.
Bye.